Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LTA 2025 matchup.
Grudge match. Quid versus Akani.
Oh no, we're gonna spam the screen.
Gonna be battling it out after.
Oh no!
Hey, we didn't even say it that time.
Yeah,
that
I think
we weren't responsible for.
It queued from the. We both said it at the same time, so they queued too.
There was one in the queue.
That system is too powerful.
Yeah,
we have to be very careful with this.
We do have to be careful with it. It's going to be an important match here. 400 Thieves. No kind of pre-power ranked, let's say, top 4 team has actually dropped a single game yet to a pre-power ranked bottom 4 team. So the 4 expected top teams were, of course, 100 Thieves, TL, C9, and FlyQuest. So we'll see if that remains to be true. 100 Thieves, by strength of schedule, do have a much easier weekend. They have 3 teams in the bottom 4. So they would love to be able to, pick up 3 back-to-back wins and kind of climb in the standings.
Oh, I like an interesting Yorick ban here. They believe Dignitas have also been putting some time in on Yorick.
I think he's really strong.
I concur. Also still is a flex pick, but Varus, the unanimous 100% pick ban champion, locked in for Tomo, who I like the analyst desk did a good job going over why this is a grudge match, and Tomo saving 100 Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got around it there. Spam the screen.
Exactly.
Tomo saved 100 Thieves, and then FBI replaced him, and they kicked him for FBI. So let's see what he has to say about it. He got the Varus starting out now. What are they going to follow up? They already know the Jace has been thrown down. And so you opt into the tank matchup.
This is interesting. So he's going to be going in towards the Scions. Considered a pretty good matchup into the Jace because you can kind of withstand the early game and then you hit a certain point where you are just supposed to be that brick wall. But it's interesting to see that Scion coming out here for Surdy as well as the Yorick band. Those are kind of some of the champions that Bwipo has been cooking with, and maybe adopting some of that champion pool for himself. I'm waiting to see what the pick is going to be. It will be Nefiri getting locked in. They were hovering Xin, but 2 of the most popular AD junglers definitely so far this split.
Plus, I love, since Nefiri got the mini rework mega buff, we'll call it.
The mini mega?
Mini rework mega buff combo is a sweet combo to get if you're a jungler especially. It's usually very good for the jungle champs. And I love the matchup into Sejuani because you run Conqueror anyways on Nefiri, and she is easy times of avoiding the Sejuani CC with your W. It's very easy to time the immunity, but this is a matchup that I always love to see Quid on. When you have a Sejuani on your squad, slap a Sylas down there. Quid is such a good melee mid lane champion player. And if you ever get the priority of having engaged from Sejuani and the passive stack up, Sylas also has good ults to steal already on the enemy team, although it can get better. So we'll see as they try and do some protection bans for that Sylas pick, taking away the popular Rise right now.
And it's something that is, like you said, quite good against the Sylas and also really popular. Kalista going to get banned out in that second phase. I'm curious, I don't play Nefiri or Sejuani. Is it actually pretty annoying, even just trying to queue into the Nefiri dogs?
Yeah, it is because the dogs are going to block stuff, as well as Nefiri being so mobile. You can also just dash away, create distance. Plus, even your passive stun has a little animation swing, so you can W that. You should never get ulted. You should never get locked down. It's and you already want to be, like I said, a conqueror, AD champ, and so you kind of feast off of tanks.
Kind of reminds me of, I've been playing a lot of Gragas lately, and Gragas body slam just always gets stopped by the little mini dogs unless you can kind of flash past them, and your ulti always gets W by Nefiri. So definitely a frustrating matchup there. We are going to see the Ezreal coming in here for FBI, so waiting for that last pick for support, try to get a support beneficial matchup. Anytime I see Ezreal coming through, I am thinking, all right, are you going to go double ranged here, down in that bot lane and play for poke?
I didn't understand your question fully, but the dogs aren't going to actually stop the queue. It's just hard because you have the dogs in the way and she's so mobile. So it's not exactly like the Gragas one.
On Gragas, they actually just stop it. Because if you get hit by a Nefiri Q, you can't even body slam away. It actually cancels it.
Because Sejuani has to hit the champion to stop it. But anyways, the Victor locked in as well. So very strong team fight there for Dignitas. Locking in, very good 5-on-5. They've got straightforward engage, carry jungler for Shaden. This is one of the things we've been looking forward to since Shaden was added into the league. Since he loves climbing solo queue with hard carry, jungle champions. wins. So we'll see if he can actually shine, if Dignitas can pull off some sort of upset here versus 100 Thieves. And they're going to slam down some support into this. I mean, Leona is still available, or you could go defensively like a Braum, since Nautilus is already locked in. Braum is so good against it in lane. There you go. You get the better team fight option for yourself with the Braum. Do definitely like this. 400 Thieves. They have so much Freljord synergy, so much CC from the Sejuani and the Braum here, and all the stuns that can come through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Braum passive as well as the Sejuani passive going to be pretty difficult to deal with. It's interesting seeing that Dig is going for what I would consider like pretty standard scaling comp. You know, generally when you see teams towards the bottom of the standings, they're going to be looking more for kind of like high variance stuff, a little bit crazier. But this is definitely just kind of straightforward, standard. You have multiple forms of engage. You have a good front line. You have some scaling carries here, and we'll see how they can match up against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves always seems to be this team that is kind of getting doubted a bit. Even, you know, last week on Pros, we had people talking about 100 Thieves, you know, potentially being that team that could get knocked out of the top 4 by someone like Lion. So we'll see if they can shut up the haters once again, as they have been doing time and time again. I'm actually a 100 Thieves believer at this point. I do think that they are a championship contender ever since they added FBI, and I do think they are pretty heavily favored in all of their matchups this weekend.
Yeah, especially with comps like this. Very, very aggressive look from the solo laners, with having high CC from both jungle and support roles here, can be very, very fearsome. Very excited, you know, for the beginning of this one. See what we can get in the early lane phases as well. Sniper's been a bit more quiet this split than we had in previous, you know, years and splits from him. So I want to see how, you know, how much he can get done in a Jace matchup here on the top side as well. Can he get to that very powerful and threatening position?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the time to step up. You have some of these easier teams in the strength of schedule. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do in this head-to-head against Surdy. And we also have, of course, you know, kind of, we'll call it triple melee topside, because of course Jace can go melee for him, but that pairing with the Sejuani alongside the Sylas and the Jace is going to be quite strong. And I just always, even though Quid is a really good range player, can play Azir, can play Scalers, I always associate him so heavily with these aggressive melee champs, and I think that's really where he does excel. So I think it's going to be a big challenge here for Kaney, and he is taking the grasp to try to answer that challenge here on the Victor. It is going to give him, you know, more of that kind of early laning power. A lot of people do like that Q start on Victor. You just walk up, auto Q auto, and try to be proccing those grass to really tax the HP here from Quid.
Got a little seasick there with the side view. I've never seen Summoner's Rift from the side like that over the river. Let's see about the early brush control, though. FBI here with Ayla. Of course, the bottom lane is a big topic. You know, we are setting up for this matchup. Tomo versus 100 Thieves, when he joined them last time, really saved the organization and in their time of need. And Ayla knows him, you know, quite well from laning against him. So FBI, we'll see what the replacement can do.
Also, nicely played there. Tomo actually going Q-start. Almost always you do see E-start on the Varus, but he did get an auto Q, hit the second Q as well. This is that bot lane history. You know, last year they were playing with Meech. Obviously, they were really struggling. They lost 4 straight series, you know, 3 0-2s as well. And then they brought in Tomo. Tomo really did help them have that resurgence here and was able to help them get to Worlds, was a big part of that. I do think that FBI is an upgrade from Tomo, but Tomo does deserve credit for what he was able to accomplish with the team. And we can see Quid, you know, is taking a pretty big hurting here. Was able to actually connect on his first Abscond Abduct, but ended up going pretty bad for him just because it meant more spells were coming out there from Kaney. And again, he is playing that Grasp, which makes it really tough in the early laning phase. And Quid has already used both potions. He's only at 150 HP right now, if that's accurate on the side, just cresting about 200 health right now. So you get hit by another spell or two, and it's back to base. And he doesn't really have a buy at this point. He only got the 10 CS.
Yeah, and he's got Doran's Ring, does not have the shield either to hug and rely on. So Kaney doing a good job with the lasers here, keeping that poke up against him. Quid's trying to struggle through and pick up some of the last hits. It's going to be a while, though. River finishing the full clear first before Sejuani would be able to come on over and try and put some or relieve some of that pressure.
And this is the last time these guys did match up, was at Worlds. Kaney did actually get the best of them. It was kind of this expected matchup that everyone was looking at and saying, all right, 100 Thieves, the mid jungle, they're going to dominate. But it was Kaney who was crushing here. And even on some spicy picks, bringing out the LeBlanc in one of the games, really got the best.
Speaking of River.
Yeah, it could be trouble here. Tomo trying to get out, does use a cleanse, has a flash, gets the first blood. FBI shifting forward, trying to take him down. Can Tomo get him back? Just barely doesn't finish him, but Isles does. It is going to be a 2-for-2 at the end of the day, but it's a 2-for-2 in a 3v2, and Shaden is chasing after Quid here, trying to get another one. You can see that River down there on the bot side trying to crash this wave. Won't be able to fully get it in until after this wave, so we'll see how much they actually are going to lose. And this is pretty smart. They're going to send Surdy down towards bot to be able to actually catch this. Surprised he's not using the teleport because there is a lot of minions there, but Shaden now looking for River. River going to be forced to flash back here. So we'll get the wave in. They will lose a fair bit of it. And again, really surprised that Surdy actually decides not to TP because he's going to lose a fair number of minions as a result, but still will catch a lot of these range minions and get quite a bit of the XP. And Tomo and Isles straight up towards that top side here right after that play. Do really like how they were able to pull that off in the 2v2. Let's watch one more time.
Especially how aggressive Tomo goes here. As soon as Sejuani shows, they go for the kill, and he gets a very quick pop onto Ayla here. So Ayla jumps in, makes the play to get the stun onto him, but Tomo cleanses off, flashes away from the E from FBI to be able to get off his next 2 spells here before he goes down. So that Ayla can finish off that kill. And as you say, in a 2v3 situation, they go 2-for-2 in kills, and it ends up being right into that swap up towards the top side for Grubs here. 5 minutes on the clock. Meanwhile, the price you paid for showing for that gank was the mid lane flash off of Quid, who has been hurting as far as the CS early on, of course, but that did exacerbate the issue as Shaden was able to go get his flash and the Sejuani flash here pre-Grubs. When the mid laner and jungle both don't have their flashes now for Grubs fight, makes it a lot more dicey.
Absolutely. And I mean, you look across the board at the lane matchups, it's CS advantages for Dignitas in all 3 lanes right now. So they are feeling really good about how this early game is going. 2-2, of course, in the kills, but they are up 600 gold because of that superior laning thus far. And Kaney, and with that early Ruby Crystal, I'm assuming that he is just going to be going towards the super popular, Roa into Leandries. We've been seeing more and more people pick this up, even on different champions. Some people aren't the biggest fan of it because they feel like it's too defensive, but against this kind of aggressive and low range of a comp, I think it's quite good. And in comes the Sion ulti, and Quid's got no flash, and it looks like he's got no way out, but River's coming in, trying to turn around the play. Doesn't have the damage to finish Kaney off. Surdy going to grab a great kill on the roam there, as we see Isles looking for the predict, and River again in this position holding the wave.
And Surdy is going to be able to teleport back to his lane, so that's why he held it earlier, so now he can do his roam play into teleport back to catch his minion waves while Shaden picks up the Grubs as well. That Sion ultimate roam from him was beautiful on a Quid who did not have flash from the earlier play. Very, very nicely done for Dignitas to increase their gold lead and grab their Grubs. Dignitas early game here looking nice.
Yeah, it's looking really strong, honestly. Credit to Dignitas. I think this is the best early game we've seen from them thus far by quite a lot. Dignitas and DSG are the 2 teams that are actually averaging, negative 1K or higher at 15 minutes into the game. So they are by far the worst early game so far in this league. But a great start here. Bot lane looking good, mid lane looking good, and now that top lane getting involved. And you never want to see Jace, the Sion, getting a lot of gold because he just becomes this brick wall you cannot get through. Of course, Sniper does have the tier. He's going to be stacking up. He's going to be scaling pretty well. But if Surdy gets ahead of the curve, it's just going to be so hard to punish him. River, of course, is trying to stay involved, trying to get as much as he can done. Does steal away the red buff and has been involved in both of those 100 Thieves kills on that bot side. Covering for mid as well, holding the wave to try to not allow that CS to get even worse for Quid.
Yeah, Quid here. Let's see what they can do. Ayla comes through the lane first, but you are going to have Isles roaming around on Nautilus as well, so just try and catch it, be a little bit safe here.
Yeah, you can see Quid 5 and 12 on the Sylas, so has not been his most successful pick by any means, but definitely known as one of those melee players, and we'll see if he can start to right the ship, so to speak. Does have the Nautilus ult to steal, which will be quite nice, and definitely going to be, I think, the key one that he is looking for here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I I want to see about this this invade and setup, because look at this deep vision. They've got deep vision on the red quadrant as well as blue quadrant right now. High value plant right there does find all 3 of them though, so they quickly clear it out. Isn't going to see those comeback plays that River can set up, and of course Sejuani with the ultimate ready definitely will be looking for those on the opposite side of the map.
And as we see these two guys matching up in the top lane, Surdy and Sniper have already faced each other a couple times in Tier 2. It's actually the first time they've faced each other in Tier 1 play, so have a bit of history against each other. Surdy was able to 2-0 Sniper in Proving Grounds in 2022 summer, and then Sniper was able to get the best of him the next time around, so they are 2 wins apiece. This would be the deciding game for the best of 5 here.
In our ultimate grudge match.
Exactly. And these are 2 of the most hyped young NA top laners that we've had in a really long time. Sniper, of course, having a great year last year with Under Thieves coming in, and Surdy this year is someone that has been talked about a lot. We'll see if River can get out. Is going to have to flash there, as Isles on the roam does force that. River, though, going to be spotted. Not too worried about Shaden. Shaden has just been kind of power farming, does have the XP advantage right now. And Quid, the Nautilus ult was about to expire, so he just throws that down onto Kaney, trying to get a bit of a chip. But Kaney, of course, does have that resolve primary, has the Aurora, the Catalyst already completed, and does use the Q shield there as well. So the Nautilus ult really not getting anything.
This mid lane priority from Dignitas is affording them so many benefits. Really good usage of the resources that they've sent mid. First, Kaney doing it himself in lane phase, but then Shaden as well as Surdy making their visits. It's turning into a lot of control for them that get them some big wins as well as some of these small ones, like the flash that was blown. So let's see about the next spawn of Grubs here, and they head to that top side to set up for it nice and early.
Definitely don't want to be giving over 6 Grubs when you are getting pushed in a lot of these lanes. That would be concerning, but 100 Thieves, of course, sending their bot lane top as well to match. Shaden already up here on that top side, and River is just doing his Krugs right now. So both teams in the area.
It's hard because Ghostblade is so cheap. The spike comes in for Tomo. He skips boots in order to grab it, so you've got the Ghostblade ready on him.
Rather have that than the call?
Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit of a difference there in the damage. Ezreal's also still at tower.
Yeah, maybe he can just try to steal one. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Quid does steal that Chains of Corruption. The hook forward, it's going to connect there onto the Braum, and Ayla's in a lot of trouble. Ayla is just locked down and burst down, and now I don't think they're going to be able to get any of these Grubs. River just accepting defeat is going to have to back it up, and it should be 6 Grubs for Dignitas. They're going to grab the Feet of Warfare. They're going to grab both of those 3 packs of Grubs, so now they're only 1 objective away from Feats here. And Dignitas in a really good spot early on.
Yeah, I think that 100 Thieves were not planning on actually fighting that. Like you're saying, you just want to always try and steal one away, but it's a good engage there.
Oh, they're going to look for Kaney. River going forward. There's the shift from FBI. They force the flash, but honestly, I don't even know if he needed to. He is just so damn tanky, and he's still sitting at, above 2/3 HP, it feels like right now, but a little bit of pressure there from River at least gets the summoner.
All right.
That's a fast Roa, wow.
It certainly is. It's going to stack up really quick. He's also, the extra kills that are happening are also benefiting him from getting the extra charges. So stack up that passive, get those upgrades, get the stacks on your Dark Seal, get the stacks on your Rod of Ages going, get the stacks on your Grasp going. He certainly is going to be a tanky and powerful Victor in this game. Definitely one of the champions that can benefit and snowball off of some of these successful early skirmishes. And since they've got 6 Grubs, Tomo's able to get a bunch of extra money here with the Varus as well in mid lane. Another turret plate cashed in. Kaney's going to get more on the top side too.
And bot lane is actually pushed in by the Scion because he got that big chunk on Sniper out of the brush. So all 3 lanes are going to be getting value out of those 6 Grubs. And you can see immediately it just pops up from 1.5 to now 1.9. Now Isle's going to find Ayla. Not sure they'll have the damage to be able to get anything more than a chunk here, but does defend the pink ward, and Tomo just constantly putting this pressure on FBI, who's out of mana, and FBI not wanting to give up too much damage to that tower, but is going to be sent back to base now on no mana, so it's likely even another plate that's going to be going over, as Surdy was looking for an angle to potentially cancel Sniper on that base, but not going to find it.
All right, so it continues for Dignitas. I mean, more alone time versus the tower there. Tomo's going to get more gold as Shaden goes to try and invade off of the extra pressure. Even with no one behind you on Nefiri, you can go for these because you have so many escapes with your dash, as well as with your immunity. Holy moly, the mid tower is almost toast already. Constantly under pressure here. And Shaden constantly getting chunks as well. Dignitas, all they have to do... Well, wait a second. As we get another chunk up here.
Yeah, Ayla's trying to get over there. Quid with a stolen ulti. Both ultis overlap fully, though, onto Kaney, and Kaney is just too damn tanky. Isles is in between and throws down the Ignite. Is going to be forced to flash back as Shaden popping the ulti onto Ayla, trying to finish him off, and here comes Surdy. River's in a lot of trouble, trying to get out of there, but is rooted up, and Kaney's going to be able to help to finish him off. Quid now running, but Shaden in the back line, looking to take them both down. Nicely timed ultimate from Ayla, but it doesn't matter because here comes Tomo with the piercing arrow. The dogs can't quite finish the job, and Sniper's pushing bot side, but they're going to get the first tower. They're getting all the kills, and Dignitas are running over the Thieves.
They are. Are Dignitas going to be the first of the bottom 4 teams to take a game off the top 4? Already this opening early game is so overwhelming. That one, just the flood of extra pressure from mid lane up through the jungle to the roam to top side gets them a bunch of extra kills plus a lot of extra territory to work with. First of all, here they've got 3 fights going on. You see on the mini-map the other 2 winning pressure, but they also teleport Surdy up to make the difference here and actually collect on some of the kills. Quid get chunked down so low that by the time Shaden runs over here with Ayla, they already have them trapped under tower. River has no way out. You continue to stack up extra stuff here for the victor as well, and Tomo even gets another snipe.
Yeah, nice Q flash from him to be able to just barely get in range. Ayla timed the Braum ulti as well as he could out of that W from the Nefiri, but not able to do anything. Ends up falling, and Kaney's just looking so tanky. Now has the Merc Treads coming in. I mean, River and Quid, they fully overlapped on their ultis, and Quid just got peeled off by Isles. Isles just kind of stood in between and rooted them up, and Quid was not able to get much damage down on Kaney. Even when the CC has landed, he has not seemed threatened whatsoever with this super tanky build that he is going for, and Dignitas really starting to run away with it, but 100 Thieves trying to get a dragon back here. Soul may be one of their only win conditions from this point. And it is going to be a Hextech Soul, so definitely one of those prime ones, but it's going to be tough to take the fight. We'll see. They're going to look for it. Tomo going to be forced to cleanse out as Shaden's in trouble. In comes Quid, and FBI's here as well. This could be the fight that gets them back into it, but Tomo's still alive. Quid is low on health. Isles will fall, but can they get more? Shaden's going to go back in, but was that the right choice? As Sniper takes down Tomo on the other side, it's Shaden going to fall as well. It's a bunch of kills for the Thieves, and just like that, they're back in it.
Oh, the Braum doing so much work there, because as soon as Tomo cleanses the initial engage from River, it is immediately followed up by the knockup from Ayla. So let's take another look at it. They already got the dragon, and then River sees the angle. He makes the call. He goes straight for Tomo. Cleanses used, boom, into the knockup, and they're able to get the rest of them through. Quid can follow up, even though Nautilus Ult kind of buys some time right there. And Shaden decides, hey, I'm going to go back in to finish these kills. He can only get one. Ayla's actually able to jump to the other side of River, and they get the nice little bump there to make sure he can't pop off. Sometimes the Nefiri picking up a couple extra kills off the back end of it would be super scary, but very good recovery from 100 Thieves. And since they got the other dragon, in payment earlier, now all of a sudden they chop down on the big gold lead, and they have the couple dragons in their pockets, leading up to a team that has mega engage on their side, having a very big threat towards consecutive dragon stacking.
Yeah, I mean, they have a real threat at just being able to fight these dragons, where a couple of minutes ago it didn't seem like they would be in a position to do so. 10 members top lane, though, both teams looking to try to brawl it out. We'll see who can land the poke. There's a great hook and the Chains of Corruption both landing on the Sniper, and Sniper is just gone at the start of the fight. Big pick for Dignitas, and the start of the fight is also the end of it. You cannot scrap after that one.
All right. Varus ultimate and Scion ultimate, both very nicely invested to grab another objective plus the extra kill. I mean, I guess you can push the wave on bottom side for 100 Thieves, but Dignitas will be able to collect it with Kaney. He's even being cautious here, walking through to the tower. Ludwig, yeah.
Ludwig's
Looking over here streaming, getting ready. He's intense.
NA Amumu GOAT right there.
Look at that analysis going on, fully invested.
Actually, here is a positional coach for all our junglers today. Mumu lessons will be on offer at the end of the day. So any LTA players who wish to apply.
Where do we sign up?
Oh, yeah, you can sign up right over at the Ludwig booth. Just let him know. He's got a sign-up sheet. As Quid going to be pushing down on that bottom side. It was actually a lot of fun watching Ludwig push all the way to, I think he got all the way to plat. And definitely fun.
Quite quickly. I think the impressive part was the speed.
Yeah, exactly. My GOAT. Definitely, it's fun to see people picking up League and loving it. Quid down on this bot side does have the stolen ultimate here. We can see the Herald's going to get summoned, though, so this tower, not long for the world. They do have Sniper pushing on top side, so likely going to be an attempt at a trade here. But also mid lane again, FBI going to be getting pushed in. And they can even drive this Herald in and get the 12 mini grub spawn because they have those 6 grubs. So if you can actually crash, you get so many of those Void Mites coming out. And Dignitas pushing forward here, trying to get this in. Sniper will claim the top tier 1, so it's a 1-for-1 trade for now. But they are going to drive it in. We'll see if 100 Thieves can find the engage. Chains of Corruption does come down. Katie going to be in some trouble, though. Braum stepping forward and blocking so much of this damage. The teleport's coming through from both of these top laners. Potentially trying to look. Sniper actually not going to teleport, but he does get the snipe. Tomo catches Ayla with the arrow to the back. I thought Sniper was going to join, but it actually ends up being pretty good because he doesn't. He's pushing towards this tier 2. It's going to get the teleport out of Katie, who's now on 2 items. Ayla on this Braum blocked up so much damage, but it just wasn't quite enough. And ends up going down.
Yeah, it was just at the end. Barely gets sniped out. Tomo really making 100 Thieves regret a little bit letting him go there. He's doing his best in this game. He has had a lot of pressure, hit a lot of snipes. Let's take a look at this one because the teleports are actually kind of after a lot of the action. The Scion has been pushing mid lane right now, and it's after the ejection. It is the Braum that got the knock-up to put all the pressure here on Victor to interrupt as he was ejecting from it. And then Ayla kind of think he's okay after the initial engage, but then walked back over for literal no reason towards the Victor Storm and then got sniped.
Yeah, Ayla could be in some trouble now. Going to get chased down, going to get rooted up and burst down. Tomo taking down his former support on back-to-back plays. How do you like it when I'm on the other team?
Probably not a lot.
Not a lot. Probably. Judging off this game, not a lot.
Yeah, okay. The only thing going for 100 Thieves is the split push. Sniper on top side, looking at the secondary tower there. That would be a decent amount of gold, but
they're going to try to fight. They are moving down. Is Sniper going to teleport? They have the ward there. Will River be able to find an angle for a steal? Now Sniper coming in here. Isles does spot the teleport. 30's on the side, trying to zone out River. Quid just on the minion wave. Otacon's getting quite low. Sniper has eyes on it. FBI and him trying to get some poke down. Shaden is almost dead to the Otacon. Can River get over there? He flashes in, but he can't quite get it. They do get the withdraw. Quid with the stolen Chains of Corruption is going to whiff, and Tomo is looking to knock him down. Quid so low. Can he survive? He can't, but Ayla is back, and the battle is on. Sniper jumping forward. Katie trying to do it himself. It's him and Isles versus the world, but in comes FBI, in comes Sniper, and they are going to wipe the GAs off the map. Dignitas claim the objective, but that's the only thing that averts complete disaster, because imagine if River stole that, Kobe.
That was so sick from 100 Thieves. River throws out his ulti, and then he places himself to flash over the wall while Quid goes for the engage. Incredibly close, and even though they don't win the flip, they still turn the fight. Quid there at the end. Surdy has to flash to be able to go, finish the kill, and they chased them all down. Kaney had nothing left at the end. Again, Braum locking them up after returning from being the pick. He was able to revive and then run all the way to the end of the fight. Golden Glue is like, at first, we don't get the
least
flip,
stressful
but
game.
We still got the win in the fight. So they did still wipe all the Otacon buffs off, and now you get 200 gold for each one, plus some flower petals. Bonus for yourself. So
and the third dragon. They're on Soul Point. So that is really strong. And I gotta say, this is one of these cases where sometimes people are just disrespecting the Otacon damage. And I've seen a lot of pro POVs in these situations where they're watching the potential fight and not the Otacon. And Shaden was just tanking the drain from Otacon over and over and taking the orbs. When the fight started, he was at like so 10% health from the Otacon damage. So they are going to find out Ayla here. Chains of Corruptions does connect, but this time not getting a lot. He does have the Mercs for the reduced CC. Quid trying to wave clear here. Steals that Nautilus ult. They're looking. Tomo is very low. in the back, but they will knock down the tier 2 and extend that gold lead back up to 1.4k. But we are all eyes on this next dragon. Hextech Soul, strongest one of the game. You got Ezreal Jace, this poke comp that can really apply it. If you give that over, it is trouble. But River's going to take the Hexgate here with Quid. They're trying to see if they could find anyone in the jungle. Not going to be able to spot them, so it will just be a move towards mid and looking again at that outer tower.
That last one, it reminded me so much of a lot of the teams, talking about 100 Thieves and how they will still just take these fights on the objectives. Even down in numbers, they did a good job of flanking from both sides. I thought the timing on the engage from both River and Quid at the same time to flash in, go for the pressure, and even if you don't hit the flip, still being in a good spot in the fight for themselves. So yeah, and tenacious from 100 Thieves to fight their way back into this game, because Dignitas had been absolutely stomping. A lot of early leads off of the opening of the game, especially around the Victor and the Poke Varus. They've just been racking up gold. And now
KD potentially in trouble. It's going to be Isles getting caught out. 100 Thieves are going to have to retreat as the teleport's coming in from Sion. Can they get the chase here onto FBI? Looks like no. So 100 Thieves going to be happy about that, forcing out the teleport, and not much of a response. But the game very, very close. Just like it is a bit on a knife's edge here, as 100 Thieves, as you say, have clawed their way back. And I mean, I just can't help but imagine that smite from Shaden came in at 129 health, I want to say it was, right around 100. If that had been stolen by River, you get full wiped, you lose the objective, and they have GAs, it would be potentially lights out. So very, very close. Kaney's still in a great spot here, though. Deathless, of course, did have the withdraw from the GA, as is his top laner, and he is still 2,000 gold ahead, working towards that Void Staff. Does have the expected Leandry's Roa build, so very tough to knock down.
Yeah, definitely so. I think, too, credit to just what Braum brings to these team fights.
A big shield.
A very big shield, but his ults have been very good. He's interrupted a lot of stuff on the ults. And they've either been targeted at either Kaney locking up that Victor or at Tomo, and greatly reducing the enemy carry DPS. So even though he has gone down a bunch.
We'll see if he can jump back over the wall. The sniper is able to do so. And yeah, I mean, it's tough. You do die a lot, but also when you're behind as a support, you still need to fight for vision. You're the one that's kind of sacrificing for the team in a lot of these spots, and I think Ayla is playing it well. In general, obviously, a lot of credit has been given to FBI for how this bot lane has been looking throughout Split 1. They make it to the finals, but Ayla also really did level up and is deserving of that credit. It is the duo as a whole that have been doing well. 100 Thieves now playing towards this top side. Surdy is going to spot Quid here, but River is in the area as well, and Surdy has no flash. Not going to be too worried about a hard engage, of course. He's Sion and he's very tanky, and 100 Thieves not going to want to commit to that. Happy to continue playing for these waves, and very likely look towards this dragon that is going to be spawning in 45.
Yeah, have to be very careful here as the objective is approaching. Everybody, Surdy's about to have his flash and will have everyone available, so it is going to get dicey here as we rotate over to it, because Dragon Soul has got to be the full commit. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh yeah, let's try and race Baron or something. It's going to be fight your way in for vision, look for the engage.
They are a little bit split on the side. Quid trying to threaten a potential flank. River on the side as well. Surdy is going to be getting focused down here, and Surdy is taking a lot of damage. He flashes, but he gets hit by the Jane's Corruption, and Surdy's in trouble. Surdy's knocked down and shut down, and now it's Isles' turn to be in trouble. Its Sniper's going to get burst down to the other side. 100 Thieves are having to kite back from this zombie passive. Shaden getting chunked, so is Isles. 100 Thieves have spent a lot of their ultis here. They're empty as far as that is concerned, but the same is true on the other side. Surdy has no teleport when he does respawn. Sniper does if they can make this fight go long. But critically, Ayla and FBI grabbing the honey fruit there. Going to be able to heal back up, and Quid will have his ulti here in a little bit, but Shaden trying to pressure him here with Kaney, pushing him back on the side as FBI and River do work slowly on this dragon. Nice attempt at the hook there from Isles, but Quid is able to dodge out and now trying to threaten to take the gate here. Dignitas have kind of grabbed control in this area, but they're getting chunked down very low, and now the stolen not assault's going in across the team, and it's going to knock up Kaney, but it's going to be Quid in trouble on the side, trying to kite back. River and FBI fighting forward here. Kaney, Tomo, and Shaden have them really low and do have them on the run. Sniper now respawn. He's immediately teleporting into mid lane, and it's going to be Surdy coming back as well, but River is taking this dragon. It's going to get down to a flip here. Shaden trying to finish him off. River's at dangerously low health, trying to get back in to finish the dragon, but it's going to be taken by River, and they grab the Hextech Soul. Now Surdy in so much trouble. He's trying to run back to Katie. Katie trying to lay down the covering fire, as is Tomo. But FBI is here, and he won't let him out alive. 100 Thieves, by the slimmest of margins, take the dragon, take the fight, and take the soul.
Holy, these junglers must be sweating at that dragon, looking for the smite. And it is Hextech Soul on a team that has an Ezreal and a Jace poke. So incredibly powerful. But I gotta compliment Quid especially. This fight that we just saw at the beginning of here, where you saw him flanking around the top side, and also the previous mid engagement, Quid played it so well, not over-committing as a Sylas, yoinking the ult, then going back in. But here's where it got so dicey. And they lock up Shaden there towards the other side of Dragon, while River was barely able to gain enough space and stay alive for the smite at the very end.
Crazy.
And that thing was so close to smite range.
I mean, the junglers had a combined maybe 400 or 500 health between the two of them, and then the smite comes down to a couple hundred health, and oh my god. Oh man, I just love the reactions there.
Everybody who's not even junglers, when the objectives are that low and the junglers are, everybody is clenching at that moment.
It's definitely a scary moment there. 100 Thieves still down in kills, but now in a great position in the game. Ayla gonna let the ulti rip onto Surdy. Surdy losing a lot of his health there, down to about half HP now, as Quid is even poking away on the side, and Quid now level 16 on the Sylas. That ulti cooldown is gonna be really low. That's where you can start getting multiple rotations out in these extended fights. And 100 Thieves still kind of playing towards that top side of the map, trying to threaten in towards the Baron. If anyone on Dignitas gets too low, they may look for this. KD forced to flash, Change of Corruptions does connect there, and in comes Ayla trying to block up for Quid, but look over the wall, in comes Shaden trying to finish him off, but he's gonna get interrupted on his dash. They do get the kill. Sniper has to flash out over the wall as they are getting cooked by the Victor ultimate. Ayla low, so is River, so is Sniper, but they can't finish the kills, and they go +1 again. This has to be so frustrating for Dig.
Oh my, I thought that they were almost even able to save Quid. Ayla jumped in like a hero there, almost barely saved Quid, but Dignitas do end up taking him down. Still, like you say, it's only 1 kill for 2. And again, the relentless onslaught of Hextech Soul with this much poke damage on the side of 100 Thieves, just so hard for Dignitas to position. There it is. So Kaney flashes the Sejuani ult, and the edge of his gravity
Get down,
field.
Mr. President.
Yeah, Ayla jumps in like a hero, blocking for him, but over the wall, they almost knock up twice Shaden to fully protect him, but finish that off anyways in the end. And they got Sniper's flash there too, so Dignitas maybe still with some angles. The Victor certainly is very powerful here. And no flashes now for, wait a second.
Just barely dodging the hook there is Ayla, and you can see those zaps just coming out constantly now. It's so frustrating to play against with poke, because not only is it the damage, it's also that mini slow that does come out, makes it harder to actually chase down, makes it harder to escape, and they are just constantly getting that procced in onto them. You can see FBI now fully 3 completed items, as is Sniper. Quid working towards his third, still very far behind where Kaney is, and he's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting because he's the only one with any sort of a real advantage. Surdy was doing well in the early phase, but Sniper has just been sticking to those side lanes, playing for his individual advantage, and that has really paid off for him now. It's a 3K gold lead up in the top lane, and Sniper is a real threat at this point.
Yeah, and maybe their hope is that now that he does not have Flash in the side lane, maybe they could try and pick him off. You know, send a bunch of members there to try and punish that Jace, because you're certainly looking for 100 Thieves to overextend and play too much of the map simultaneously, and then kind of make your move. You do have a Scion ultimate ready. You have your Nautilus ult, so the possibilities are there for Dignitas to try and make a quick play. But you do have to be very quick about it.
That was pretty spooky from River, though. He had no flashing. He almost got hooked out of the air on that blast cone. Could have been problematic for him. Might have been able to get out anyway, but definitely could have been trouble if he went down over by that Baron. Definitely one of the ways that Dignitas could look to come back. You can see they're trying to play for vision in this area, but it's so tough to walk in against this Ezreal and this Jace. You're walking through this tight corridor, and you're just getting poked down time and time and time again.
Scion
but they have to
maybe
fight
from
for
the
vision. And we'll see if they can find it.
If you get an open Scion ultimate through the beginning of mid lane, sometimes that can solve poke issues, because you always need that dream hard engage, right?
And we'll see if they can find that. Dignitas now kind of looking, trying to get some damage down here on a River, who's getting chipped down the side. But at the same time, Isles is in trouble. But look over at Surdy. Surdy's found FBI, and FBI gets locked down by the Chains of Corruption, killed by the AD carry he replaced. Kaney at the same time, though, getting low as well. Sniper's coming in. Kaney trying to run here. He's down incredibly low, and the Stolen Victor ultimate takes him down. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Quid, as he's trying to knock down Shaden and Tomo are kiting back and forth, trying to survive. But Quid dives in, and Quid kills everyone in 100 Thieves, get the triple from their mid laner, ace their opponents, and take full control.
100 Thieves are gonna go straight down mid lane after that full ace. What a fight, even with the Scion ult. Getting into the side, getting back to FBI and him going down, the rest of the 100 Thieves are able to take over and run it through the base. We got respawns already here from Isles, but everybody else is almost 20 seconds.
Yeah, they're positioning like they want to end. Quid looking aggressively in towards Isles. With that miss, though, I think they are going to retreat. They're going to take their victory and back it up. But Quid's going back in. This is going to get potentially risky as people are going to start responding. But Isles is just too far up. Isles going to flash out. He's going to go down anyway and loses the ulti. And now you're down a man for the Elder that is up here, so they probably can't even contest that. River and FBI are just going to start it.
Quid is a beast, and 100 Thieves here with the Soul looking to finish off the Elder. I don't think there's a world where Shaden gets over here for another exciting smite fight. It's just too far away. It's burning down too quickly. This game has been full of them, but this is not going to be another chance. And now, with the Elder, you get to move straight over to Baron, and there's no way Dignitas can fight you on the Baron because you have the Elder buff, and then you get to go knock on their door with all of the endgame buffs of Soul, Elder, and Baron.
Yeah, and Quid now very close even to his death cap. Already had that third item, Zonia's, and working towards that death cap. Probably going to have the gold once they get the Baron, and that is going to be a massive spike for him. He's actually now ahead of Kaney after being way down for so long in this game. Quid and Ayla on the side here, looking to keep them away. Remember, they have that Elder Dragon buff. A fight here feels kind of like suicide, but giving up both of those powerful buffs feels incredibly difficult as well. That's a situation Dignitas will be faced with here, though. They've got to hope they can wave clear, try to delay until that Elder does expire, but it's 140 until that happens, and that is an eternity in their position right now.
Certainly is. They're doing their best to try and clear out some of the minion waves, but the poke keeps on coming through from 100 Thieves. The onslaught now, once you're inside the base, you can farm all 3 waves as you slowly siege up here. Baron buff is going to do a lot of work. Elder Dragon poke.
Yeah, this poke is just so rough. Surdy is just paper. Surdy gets burst down by the stolen Elder Dragon, and now Quid just steals the Victor ult and drops it on his opponents to send them back to the fountain here. Elder plus Hextech Soul doing so much work. Shaden chunking down River incredibly low as well, though. Maybe that gives them a bit of an angle to try to hold on. It's up to Kaney and Tomo, but Quid is looking for it. Tomo has to pop the Ghost Blade and run back to the well as in goes Isles, but there's the immediate Zonias from Quid. The Chains of Corruption only connects onto Ayla, but Quid is alive and Quid is fighting. They're all piling in and looking to finish the game. It's just Kaney and Shaden now. Quid goes godlike, but then he goes down. 4 members of 100 Thieves standing tall in the base. The supers are coming, and they're looking to close this one out. 30 seconds now on the Elder buff. Ayla jumping forward, looking for an angle there onto Shaden. The gravity well is going to get dropped, and it's going to stun Ayla up. Kaney has got to find a miracle, but I think he doesn't have it in him. The respawn now, though, back from Surdy. Can they focus the Nexus? Surdy's in the middle. Shaden's down. Kaney's getting pushed back, and eyes on the Nexus for 100 Thieves. They'll complete the comeback, move to 3-2, and take down Dignitas.